fallout,
Llewelyn's
the
shocking
discussions,
comments on Vybz Kartel Privy Council appeal.
Heat from the Vybz Kartel Privy Council ruling continue. And this morning, for the first time, the DPP was responding since the judgment came down last Thursday morning. And she was asked by Tona and Ricardo about the advice she gave to the judge in the trial after it was revealed that there was an attempt to bribe the jurors.
DPP, having been told that all of your jurors in 2014 had been offered a $500,000 bribe, why did you not advise the judge that it was probably best to dismiss the jury, which was now obviously tainted?
You see, you are now trying to get me to discuss the matter, and I told you that I didn't wish to.
No, but certainly this point, DPP, is important because here the law lords are saying you advised the judge that you were prepared to proceed even though you knew that the entire panel, 11 jurors, the forewoman told you, had been offered bribes. Wouldn't that mean in your judgment, DPP, that the entire jury, as the law lords have now found, was contaminated and should have been terminated or discharged?
Well, first of all, I am not the judge.
True, but you gave advice that you were prepared to proceed, and what I'm trying to understand.
You were prepared to proceed.
But why were you prepared to proceed with a jury that was contaminated?
Well, RymeNation family, welcome back to the channel. Well, this is a very shocking one. The Director of Public Prosecution, which is the DPP, Paula Llewelyn, who most Jamaicans hate, made a shocking revelation on national radio RymeNation family. She stated that this is not the first time she had to deal with jury tampering. She was questioned about the Vybz Kartel case. So, she has said another Vybz Kartel case alone she had to deal with, wherein the jury had been tampered with. And she let the case proceed with RymeNation family, knowing that the case was tampered with. So right about now, I'm going to make you listen to this audio from the DPP, Paula Llewelyn, in this shocking revelation on national radio RymeNation family, wherein thousands of persons heard what she said. When you say Paula Llewelyn can't robot, you already stated that. And the people them must say you need to resign from office immediately because you're corrupted. And your office full of be corruption. So, I'm going to leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section and tell them what you think about this one. And if you're new to the RymeNation channel, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. Whenever you guys subscribe to the channel, helps the channel to grow and helps YouTube to push your channel out there. So please remember to subscribe to the channel. So take a listen to the audio RymeNation family.
The fallout,
Llewelyn's
the
shocking comments
discussions,
on Vybz Kartel Privy Council appeal.
Heat from the Vybz Kartel Privy Council ruling continue. And this morning, for the first time, the DPP was responding since the judgment came down last Thursday morning. And she was asked by Tona and Ricardo about the advice she gave to the judge in the trial after it was revealed that there was an attempt to bribe the jurors.
DPP, having been told that all of your jurors in 2014 had been offered a $500,000 bribe, why did you not advise the judge that it was probably best to dismiss the jury, which was now obviously tainted?
You see, you are now trying to get me to discuss the matter, and I told you that I didn't wish to.
No, but certainly this point, DPP, is important because here the law lords are saying you advised the judge that you were prepared to proceed even though you knew that the entire panel, 11 jurors, the forewoman told you, had been offered bribes. Wouldn't that mean in your judgment, DPP, that the entire jury, as the law lords have now found, was contaminated and should have been terminated or discharged?
Well, first of all, I am not the judge.
True, but you gave advice that you were prepared to proceed, and what I'm trying to understand.
We were prepared to proceed.
But why were you prepared to proceed with a jury that was contaminated?
No. All the other factors, that some of which I cannot go into in terms of.
So you were thinking about cost. You were thinking about how long the matter had been going.
We were also thinking of security issues. There were a lot of other issues that we cannot go into the public domain. And what our information from the foreman was, what she was saying, was that all of the attempts had to do with acquittal. Clearly, if it had been the other way, we would have, clearly, given the overriding objective of any case, which is fairness to the accused. But what would have been perhaps planted in the mind of the jurors is, okay, you need to acquit. And remember that these persons, at least two of them, are very famous. So it would have been, as far as the prosecution, when we discussed it, we would have been those ones at a great disadvantage. This is not the first time.
But with the greatest respect, DPP, that's not persuasive, because what I want you to focus on is the fact that the process now had been corrupted and contaminated, and you advised the judge that you were comfortable proceeding with a contaminated and corrupt process.
This is not the first time that I have had to deal with jury tampering.
And be that as it may, in the exercise of your judgment, why did you not see it fit to bring to an end a matter that had been corrupted?
After 64 days of trial?
Isn't the interest of protecting the impartial trial greater than the length of time that had elapsed?
I agree with you on paper, but I have done other cases where there has been jury tampering to the great negative of the prosecution. I have seen cases, I've seen jury inquiries where the juror, having been questioned, it was quite clear that it was either an accused person or an accused person's relative that approached the juror. And the juror was able to indicate to the court that it did not make any difference. He would still be able to have an impartial situation in his mind. I have had the experience. I've prosecuted many cases. And when asked, I have indicated that we don't have any problem. So in other words, we are prepared to take our chances and just try to make sure that you have a very powerful address. But this, what happened in a couple of the cases I've dealt with, didn't happen during summation. It happened before we got to summation. So I have had the experience before of jury tampering. And I have been asked before, what is my view, being the prosecutor in the matter? And even after the inquiry, it's a judgment. It's quite clear that you don't know if the juror is telling you everything about the encounter with the relative of the accused, but you are willing to take the chance nonetheless. So it has happened. I mean, both myself and Mr. Taylor, who was the prosecutor, we didn't drop from the sky. It's not the first case that we are both having to deal with. And in our experience, we have had to deal with cases where you have issues arising.
With the benefit of hindsight, do you regret the submissions you made?
You are not going to get me there. You are not going to get me.
Well, quite an interesting 5 minutes of exchanges there. And the takeaway for me is the DPP seems to be relying on the fact that in her long prosecutorial career, she has made a judgment call, several judgment calls, in a number of instances of jury tampering, And I wonder, does that make it legally correct? It might be a call that has been wrong. Because surely, based on what we now have from the Privy Council, jury misconduct undermines the fundamental principle of the justice system of the accused being entitled to a fair trial. And the fact that you have been doing it several occasions before does not make it right. Those who have been in such matters, do they have cause, reason to wonder, at minimum? It is, Madam DPP, quite a space we are in.